Alright, what's going on, guys? Sean Don coming back with a technical analysis. Here we have Frank McQuade, a Masters athlete. Apparently has been only thrown 6 months. He's turning 70 soon. So, first and foremost, let me just say, Frank, that you are an inspiration to me because I don't know if I'm going to be able to move like you are at the age of almost 70. I'm impressed. So, you sent me a few different videos. You said it's kind of your progression from 1 to 3 turns. I'll skip over the first video, the 1 turn, because it's in slow-mo and that's really hard to go through. I don't think it matters too much. I want to look at the more recent stuff. So we'll take a look both at your 2 turn and your 3 turn. So this is the 2 turn. And pretty solid. A little bit of, what would the term be? Extraneous up and down movement. And the 3 turn is better. You said you didn't really know if the 3 turn was necessary, but I think if it looks like this, it's pretty solid. So, yeah, I guess I'll break down the 2 turn really quick. Watch it one more time. Yeah, so, just very quickly. Wind. And the only thing that's, I think the 3 turn, I'll explain why I think it's better. With 2 turns, the weight is pretty low right here. You could try to get it up and out a little bit more. But that being said, like, you do a pretty good job. Like, the throw itself is pretty solid. You're centered. You have decent connection with the weight. You're turning with it pretty well. Like, good patience here. Stable left side. The only thing, the big glaring thing is kind of this right arm. And I guess that's kind of the hard thing to iron out when you're a Masters athlete. Like, I don't know how much, for example, if you're like a Judd Logan, you can't straighten out that right arm just because of, you know, it's anthropometrics at this point, you know, like your body's kind of built the way it's built when you are your age. But that would be a big thing to try to fix. It's just straighten out this right arm. You could, I mean, if your left arm is straight, and your right arm could be bent because this left arm is doing some pulling. There's some tension up in this left side, so this right arm's straight. Or, like I said, it could just be locked like that, but just try to extend that right arm a little bit more. It'll help connection. Let the ball get a little bit more free. But that being said, this is decent. Yeah, you can see yourself rise up just a little bit. So if you watch your hips and your shoulders, it goes up just a bit in single support. Then you catch. Your right hip could be a little bit more underneath you. Your torso could be a little bit more upright. But you do a good job of working out of it. Your hips don't sink back anymore. Your left shoulder's working well, and once again, your patience is pretty good. Your head's peaking a little bit. Not bad, so you could keep your eyes on the hammer a little bit more, keep a focal point towards the back of the circle. But then you see, so there's going to be this, if you watch this right leg up through this left shoulder, you can see there's a big lift there. And then because of that, if you watch this left foot down on the ground, you're going to come up on the toe. And there's just a little bit of this rise up as the ball goes around the left. And then you rise up, you see the hips. Hips go up, and then hips go down, and then your posture's a little broken, your hips are back, your chest is down. Ideally, your chest would be up, your torso would be upright, your hips would be underneath you, and then you would deliver the implement a little sturdier. That being said, though, you still get some good triple extension through the lower body through the finish, despite having your posture not be ideal. But that's just a little bit of like an efficiency thing that makes the force you're putting into the hammer just, I guess, get a little bit more distance for the effort put in. So that's the 2 turn. But let's take a look at the 3 turn because I think this is better. You said you weren't really sure if it makes sense, but I think based on how it looks compared to the 2 turn, it's pretty solid. So the big thing in this 3 turn compared to the 2 turn is that you stay down better. Still kind of some of the same aspects as in that 2-turn, the weight drops really low off of the wind. So what you could do is a sling start. When you're doing 3 turns, you can start a little bit slower, so you can start a sling start. So you would bring the hammer, or bring the weight back here, and then literally just cast it in around you instead of going up over the head. Lance Steele has done this. He's done a lot of things, though. I'm a big fan of the sling start. I think it makes things a little bit easier. Sets up orbit better. You can feel that right side a little bit better. Whereas when this weight drops off that wind, your left side's really going to be the first thing that goes. But that being said, the wind is decent. Like, you're coming around, setting up this left side well. As you can see, left shoulder, knee, hip, heel pretty much lined up. Patience is good once again as the hammer goes through 0. Still kind of that same bent right arm. I'd like to see that a little bit straighter. Once again, you can see this left arm coming across the body and this right arm bent. If you had this right arm straight, the hammer would be a little bit freer around the left. It'd be more ahead of where it is right now. But you don't really rise up like you do in the 2-turn. Hips kind of stay one level, you catch. Still, posture is a little bit broken. Hips could be underneath you a little bit more, torso a little bit more upright. You can think about having this left shoulder out here over this left hip. You kind of want to replace that left shoulder to the left hip. What you do after you catch, but once again, just efficiency. You have to work the ball across, line up this left side again. Good patience. Left side works pretty well. Still bent right arm. Then same thing. So this is the good stuff right here, like I said, compared to the 2-turn. You don't really yank that left shoulder up too much. You do a little bit as it's coming off the low point, which is fine, but then you kind of chill out and you stay one level. Hips stay one level. Still stay one level. You catch, and then once again, pretty stable in terms of total like body height, if that makes sense. You're not really going up and down too much like you were in the 2-turn. And then good, pretty solid connection here. Head's still leading a little bit, left side's leading a little bit, but pretty good. And then you do rise up a little bit here, but it's not as dramatic as it is in the 2-turn. You come back down, and same thing. You could just improve your posture a little bit on each catch. Hips a little bit more underneath you, forwards. Kind of think like a front squat position as opposed to like this would be kind of more like a back squat position where your hips are back and your chest is a little bit more forwards. You want that chest up and those hips under, leaning backwards, pressuring backwards into the direction of which you want to throw. But as you can see, you catch and then you start to work back. You can see it kind of through the head and the neck and the shoulders. And your hips come through. You finish up and out, which is great. So, yeah, dude, I'm impressed. Like I said, I think if I'm moving like this at the age of 69, 70, I'd be really happy. So, yeah, just little things. Straighten that right arm out. Be a little bit more patient. You can try to control the head. The big thing I think you could fix is your posture. Keep your hips, like I said, forwards underneath you. Like I said, keep that torso stacked upright. Good front squat. Yeah, and then try not to rise up too much. Like I said, this 3-turn's pretty solid. Staying down the legs a little bit better. Keep working on it. I really dig it. So, Frank, let me know if you have any questions. Happy to help. Love your passion for throwing. It's great. So, that's all I got for you. Sean Don. Peace and out. Until next time.